Hello, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I am Random Gamer Riven, and this is yet another randomized gaming video, and today we're actually a bit of a slightly different one. I'm actually just showing some comparison footage of a PSP to HDMI scaler I purchased recently and we're looking into using for capturing for PSP games. And the reason for actually using it is, as you know, if you've got a PSP 2000 or 3000 models, so connect them via component, S-Video or composite to your TV. Unfortunately, the original PSP 1000 models can't be connected and the PSP Go have a slightly different connection. I also believe they don't have the upscale, the screen resolution issue the 2000 3000 have. So as you can see, I've got a nice little scaler on screen here. This is the LKV8000. Now, the manufacturer, I think, is Lenken. There's a couple of websites that sell it with various different manufacturer names. What I can tell is there is two versions of it. There's one that only does 720p. Avoid that version because all the reviews I've seen say that one version's got some input lag on it. This one is the 720p and 1080p version, which got next to no lag. I think there may be a teeny amount of lag, but it's so minimal, it's really hard to notice at all. In fact, even playing fighting games, I was just debating whether it was lag or not. So the reason actually I've decided to pick up a scaler is that about a week ago we were testing out a component scaler. Now the problem, as anyone will know if you play the PSP, is that the PSP has a really bizarre way of outputting its resolution. So as you can see, the PSP outputs a standard 480p resolution when it's connected to the TV. I'm just showing you a little display here, so 480p 4:3. Now the problem is that it outputs at 640 I should say, and at 480. Now this is great for things like PSN games, like PlayStation 1 games, and PSN, because they'll output to full screen. But the problem comes when playing PSP games on the telly using a connector to the TV, in that the PSP by default outputs games at 480 and at 272, so 480 272, which actually fits inside the traditional 480 resolution. Unfortunately, because it can't basically the PSP can't do widescreen at 480p. So instead it does like the old VHS videos did with widescreen videos, and basically slap a widescreen picture inside a 4:3 box, resulting in you getting an incredibly small play area. And unfortunately, you can use the component scalers and TV adjusters to slightly blow it up, but even when I was nursing capturing it, you have to crop it and it still doesn't look quite as good. This interesting box of tricks, the LK8000, addresses that issue by applying a zoom button, and it's a special scaler that enables you to actually zoom in the picture with the zoom button, and it actually works surprisingly well. Now, it appears to convert it into a form of VGA from what I can see, because it plugs in via it's a similar type to a VGA adapter, not quite. So basically I think it's taking PSP signal, converting it to a RGB or VGA, then outputting it to the TV. Now, it's not pinprick sharp, and if you actually play via componently standardly, the PSP gives a slightly foggy display. But this scaler blows the picture up to full screen and gives you quite a decently sharp picture. It's not pinprick sharp, as I said. There are some slightly foggy and blurry issues with it in places. The text isn't quite perfect, but for the price and what it does, it's actually a pretty decent job, because no other device on the market that I can see does this for the older the PSP 2000 and 3000, and it gives you a full screen picture. So just to show you, this is what the PSP looks like normally when running. In the 272 window, you can see very small window, and this is what it looks like when it's blown up. So now that we've bought it, we're testing it out. Now, I should point out, this is actually the second unit we got, because these are sort of Chinese manufactured things. The first one I got, well, I didn't even try it, because basically as soon as I got it, I could hear something was rattling around inside it, so I knew something had broken off, and that was a fire hazard. So that was sent straight back to Amazon, and about 2 weeks later I ordered another one. This would have also been the last one I ordered had this one been faulty, but this one came back, didn't have a rattle, and does work. Now, the only caveat is it has to be plugged in all the time, And playing PSP games, as the PSP is quite short battery life, often it's quite heavily cabled, as you've got this device plugged into the PSP, and you've got your mains cable as well plugged into the PSP. But I'm now going to run a short showcase of a varying degree of games just to show you what it looks like in the scaler for if you want to see what it's like. And I've seen a few reviews before on this device, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to show footage of a selection of games. Now, I've recorded this at 1080p for the maximum screen, well, basically to look as best as it can. That does mean it's only recorded at 30 frames a second at the minute. However, we at Randomised Gaming are looking to upgrade our current capture unit in the very near future, so we should hopefully be doing 1080p videos at 60 frames a second in the not too distant future, all being well with the upgraded capture card we currently have on order. But for now, this is 30 frames a second, and this is a selection of games from the PSP. So without further ado, I'll get started on the first one.
for Pete's sake! Five more barrel carriers to go! Hurry!
You cops are just wannabe soldiers who couldn't stomach boot camp. Pursuit Force sent a Sally like you to do a soldier's job.
室ハウンド招待を作戦を遂行してください。
これより制圧作戦を開始する。ガンハウンド戦機降下せよ。
こちらハウンド2設置確認。
ハウンド3設置確認。周囲に異常なし。
部隊前方に熱源多様多数確認。およそ250想定以上の数です。
各隊に伝令。作戦に変更なし。速やかに応戦せよ。グリフォンに敵を近づけるな。
警戒団にこのくせ本当に役に立ってんのか。
監視隊が間もなく到着の予定だ。ハウンド2合流地点の確保を急いでくれ。
了解。敵対空兵器の破壊を優先します。
Street Fighter Alpha 3! It's showtime! Face it straight! KO!
Bye.